Yeah, come on. All right, so we've got three little ones in here, all different. So it'll be fun kind of to talk about them. I'll try to group them together the best I can. But this one, obviously that's a wiener dog, or a dachshund to be correct. And that is a silver dapple, and her name is Minnie. And then we have our little Yorkie. That's this little one. She's a chocolate and tan. It's a little female. And that is Sheila. And then Leighton is the one I was holding to start off. And this is Leighton. He's a Cavashon. So we're going to step down and talk about these guys real quick. Hi, how are you? They were being kind of quiet. We first put them in here, and they weren't too sure. Of course, they did just get here too. But so let's see if we can get you guys out here. I'm going to sit down. Oh. All right. So three different guys here. Not a lot of similarities between these guys, so I'm going to have to almost kind of talk about them one at a time. So this is Sheila, okay? This little one here, this is Sheila. She is our Yorkie, and she is chocolate. Okay, so this is chocolate. It should be coming through on the cameras. Typical, traditional, what we call it, tan markings, just like your black and tan, but she happens to have chocolate on her body. Now, as a Yorkie, of course, hi, sweetheart. As a Yorkie, she is a pure registered Yorkie, and she is going to be in about the 8 to 10 pound range when she matures. She's going to be a very low shed, so she really doesn't drop a lot of hairs. She will drop a little bit, and most of that's going to be her puppy coat that comes off. But once that puppy coat comes off, that adult coat comes in, and that's the coat that really doesn't shed very much. But with her and with that, combing these guys out, you're going to want to use you are going to want to use a hard comb. There we go. That was really hard to say. So use a hard comb to comb these guys out. Keep them tangle free. Very important that you do keep the tangles off these guys. This is one that's going to need to be groomed. So it's very important for you, for the dog, and make your groomer real happy. When you bring them in with a coat like this that they can just go through and clean up and run clippers through. Very important to not have any mats and stuff. You do want to watch for matting down the back end where they sit down on the floor. On their bellies, believe it or not, they'll get matting down their belly, and that's from actually also laying on the floor. So, you know, definitely clean these guys up and go through them probably a couple times a day, or I'm sorry, a couple times a week to get them combed out. Now, with your Yorkie, again, this is a non-traditional color, but still super pretty. We've got a little male that he come in last week, and he's a chocolate as well. So if you like your Yorkie breed, I mean, they're all Yorkie. Everything about them is Yorkie, just their personality, their temperament, stuff like that. Just their color is a little bit different, which I think is kind of unique. So, you know, with her, working with the Yorkie, you are going to be, she's a Yorkie, she's a terrier. She is independent as far as her thinking. She is a little stubborn as far as how she goes, how she perceives things. These guys are fearless. Yorkies are terriers again. Even though she's only going to be 10 pounds when she matures, they are basically a fearless dog. These guys are not afraid of anything. And that's to be expected because of what they are and how they're bred. You know, they were bred to, you know, back in the days, they were bred to kill rats and mice and things like that in the granaries, and that's why they're smaller in size, which they are very good at doing. So, you know, you do, and that's why they have a heavier foot too, and that is to dig, to get to these little rodents and things. But that's originally what Yorkies were used for. Of course, we don't do that nowadays, but of course, but anyway. Now, working with them, training these guys, you just need to be consistent. Consistent and repetitive, and that will get her trained up. And just, you know, like I said, you can work with the stubbornness and stuff. I have two Yorkies myself, and mine are actually, you know, sweet little things. You know, so they're not impossible to train. A Yorkie is one that, you know, that might be a good, if you're a first-time dog owner, your Yorkie might be a good candidate for puppy classes for you. Just because it helps you to communicate with the dog, it helps you to get the dog to understand what it is you want. So that's a little bit about her. We'll grab one more. They keep going behind me to hide. So who's this? That's our little Cavashon. Okay. So this is our little Cavashon boy. This is Layton. And get her out here just so you can see her. We'll talk about her in a minute. That's our Dachshund. So Layton is a Cavashon. That is a Cavalier. He is going to be, he will have a play level to him. It'll be on the lighter side. But he definitely will still play. He was in here kind of playing with his toys and, you know, just playing with the little taco here and stuff. But your Cavachons are very sweet disposition to them, and just a gentler, you know, almost empty nester kind of dog, but not quite. Cavachons typically don't do well in like mega active houses. So if you've got very young kids, and they'll be fine with young children, it's just the activity level of the young kids. A lot of times that's a little overwhelming for a Cavalier or a Cavalier mix. So, you know, Layton here, who is a Cavashon, Cavalier Bichon, in a super duper active home, he would probably not thrive or do real well because it's really going to be overwhelming to him. But in a home where the children are older, you know, maybe they're in high school, stuff like that, where they're doing their own thing, you know, that would be perfectly fine. He will do fine in empty nester kind of stuff. If you're newlyweds, you know, or just moved into your own first apartment, whatever, those kinds of situations, you know, he is going to be a little bit on the quieter side. He's going to be a little bit on the smaller side. He's going to be probably around the 12-pound range when he matures. So, I mean, you can see he's just kind of sitting here chilling, although he was up kind of bumbling around a little bit. And that's very normal for these guys. Now, his coat is still going to be, need to be combed out with a hard comb. Okay, he's still got a lot of that wave to him and stuff. But with his coat, this is what we call a mild shed. So, like the Yorkie here, this is our little Yorkie. So she would be better if you had allergies or asthma sort of situations, because she throws very little hair. She really doesn't throw much of a dander. He's going to throw some dander because of the Cavalier Spaniel that's in him, and he is going to have a mild shed to him. His coat is pretty wavy, so I would think it's going to be a pretty mild shed. You're not going to find a lot of hairs, but you will find some. So if you're okay with that, and, you know, and if you don't have dog-specific allergies, he would be fine. You know, like I said, if you're looking for a little bit quieter, just kind of more of a snuggle buddy, this little guy would do just fine. Now, again, comb him out with a hard comb, even though he might shed a little bit. You'll want to take her and him both to the groomers. Again, this is our little Yorkie, and he would definitely be a candidate for grooming as well. Keep this coat in just a shorter, kind of a puppy cut coat, shorter length. This is pretty short already right now. He hasn't been groomed yet, but this is shorter just because he's young. He's only 9 weeks old. So, you know, when he gets up to around 14 weeks or so, this will be getting longer, and, you know, we will clip him and stuff. About 14 weeks is usually when we do our first grooming anyway on these guys, but that's about when we would start. And then after that, probably about every 8 weeks or so. I wouldn't go much longer than 8 weeks. So our little Yorkie, our little Cavashon, and then we're going to get to our Dachshund here, our little wiener dog, in just a second. But 3 very different dogs. For those that you just jumped on and happen to kind of wonder what we're doing, this is Friday Night Live at Your New Puppy. We do this every Friday. We kind of go through our guys, the new guys. This is our puppy showcase, so these are the new guys that just got here today. So we talk about them and kind of showcase them off a little bit. You will find them on the website, although their pictures are not there yet. Pictures and stuff, they have a post, it's just generic, but their pictures and stuff will post tomorrow. We will work on those tomorrow morning and afternoon, so sometime a little bit later in the day you'll see pictures and videos of these guys all up there and stuff. But there is a post for them right now. And they are available. You know, they got here today, so they are available. So we are located in Cincinnati, and this is one of our play areas. And if you want to come in and interact with these guys, you can basically do just what I'm doing. You know, sit down with them and kind of interact and play with them, and get to know them a little bit better. These guys are going to be a little bit quieter because they did just get here today. Give them a couple days to get acclimated to the store, and you'll see them running around playing, being their normal personalities. Now this little one here, this is Minnie, and Minnie is our Dachshund, and she's gonna be smaller for a Dachshund. She's not gonna be very big. She's only gonna be maybe 10, 12 pounds, maybe. She's out of smaller parents. She is a registered Dachshund, and Minnie here too, or not Minnie, this is Minnie. Our little Yorkie, I forget her name. What the heck's her name? Sheila, goodness. Sheila, these are both registered dogs. Now, the Dachshund, she is what we call a silver dapple, or if you look at that color, you can see might be coming through kind of like as a bluish or a silver, but we call that silver dapple. Dapple, of course, is being this broken pattern. So you've got black, she's black and silver. So you've got this broken pattern. Some of the black is bigger. Then you've got some little polka dot versions of it. And with a dapple, you'll get that. Dapples do not follow any specific pattern, as far as it's kind of like somebody threw paint at them, and it's just kind of sporadic. And that's what dapple is supposed to be, just a very sporadic or broken pattern to them. Now, your Dachshund, of course, this is a shedding dog, and nice thing about that is she's going to be smaller. So she's smaller in size. Her color is this color. You know, if this gray falls off, this silver, as we call it, the black comes out. It's short hair. I mean, it's for the most part going to blend right in. So you're really not going to see too much of this anywhere. Might see it on your clothes in the summer if you've got lighter colored clothes on, but that's about it. As far as normal, in the house, or neutral colors, if your sofa or your couch is neutral, or your, sitting chairs or whatever you have in there, check him out. He's like sound asleep. He's digging the warmth off my legs. So, but anyway, like I said, the colors, even though she's going to be shedding and stuff, it's pretty minimal. Just only because of size. I mean, she's only going to be this big, so you're not going to get like tons of hair. And because it's short coated, and she'll stay short coated, that's going to remain the same. So now with your Dachshund, of course, with these guys, they do have an elongated vertebrae. That is their backbones here. So she has the same number of vertebrae through her back as this one does, just she's bred in a different fashion. And this was on purpose. All your Dachshunds have a longer, and there's other breeds too that have elongated vertebrae, like your Corgis, another one. So they have an elongated vertebrae as well. These guys, we tell you this, and it's like virtually impossible to do, and that's to keep them from jumping. Your Dachshund is a very active, athletic kind of dog. I had mentioned Corgis, and Corgi is also a very athletic kind of dog. They love to run, they love to play, they love to jump. So, the best thing about jumping, if they're flat on the ground, that's fine. We don't want them leaping off the couches, off the chairs, things like that. So that's what you want to do. Don't set them up there and have them leap down. If you're going to allow them on your furniture, on your couches, on your beds, please provide them some puppy steps to get up and down. That will keep them from injuring their back. All right, so it's very important that you understand that back injuries, these guys are prone to that. So there's a couple things you can do for that. One is minimize that jumping, like we were talking about. Don't let them jump from 3 steps up off the deck, onto the yard. Don't let them jump from up here. Teach them that they need to use those steps. Another thing you can do for outside, you've got steps coming from your patio, boom, 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 down to your backyard. Give them a ramp. A lot of times with these guys, they're little. Steps are hard for them to do. So just take a simple piece of plywood, boom, and just make a little ramp, going down. That'll be easier for them to navigate down, and also easier for them to learn. So You know, probably not much going on right now as far as using a ramp outside, but once you get into summertime, you can do that, and a ramp actually works really well. So the other thing with the back is obesity. We don't want these guys to be fat, so she is actually, this is like perfect. Just a nice thin build through here. We don't have much of a belly. You know, she should have a little belly, which she does, but we don't want like a big belly. So just a smaller belly for her, and that will keep them, the belly will actually weigh down the back, which is why we don't want that, you know. So right now she's on free choice feed, and you can see she's got like a perfect body score. She's right in the middle, which is where she wants to be, which is where we would want her to be. But don't let her get too heavy on you. So minimize on your treats. And like I said, right now she's on free choice feeding. So, and what they do with that is they graze feed. So she only eats when her body actually calls for food consumption. So, you know, by doing that, it's actually very healthy for a dog to just go over and kind of nibble a little bit, and then, you know, come back and eat a little bit more when she's hungry, when her body's calling for that nutrition. Now, as far as dachshunds themselves, these guys, they're in the hound family, of course, and they can be a little headstrong as well. They also have a little bit more independent, but they're very sweet. Super sweet, super loving kind of little pup. Great little family dog. All these guys would do well with families, and you know, even if you had kiddos, things like that. So that's a little bit about these three. We do have a couple more playpens to talk about. Our little Basset hound is sitting in the next playpen, and she's just anxious to get on the camera. So I'm gonna have to unfortunately wake these guys back up. Our little Leighton here is like, hey man, I was comfortable. So we're gonna get him back out. We'll get this one from chewing on my belt. We'll get her back out. We're gonna hand over to the next play area.
All right, and while Mark's making his way over here to the next playpen, again, that was our three little cuties there. Mini Dachshund, Yorkie, and Cavashon were the three that you were looking at in here. Mark will talk about these guys in just a moment here. One of the common questions that we do get is price. Because we're dual streaming on YouTube and Instagram, it is against terms of service for us to be able to throw out price to you guys, but here's what you guys can do. If you direct message our page after the live, we can get you guys that info on any of the pups that you're requesting about, or you can call us during normal business hours. We are open 7 days a week. Tomorrow, we're open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Website, our YNP admin with the bulldoggy picture has posted the link in the chat there, just so you guys could see that. And then that again is just going to be yournewpuppyllc.com. If you guys go on there, there's a lot of useful information. We did have some people asking about the delivery process as well too. With that, which I'm sure Mark can go in depth about in just a couple minutes, kind of the delivery. We had some people concerned about safety with the delivery. So if you just wanted to talk a little bit, Mark, about how safe that delivery process actually is, and that we use no airplanes.
Yep, I can do that. Absolutely. I wanted to get Pfeiffer back out here so you guys could actually see her. So Pfeiffer is our Basset hound, a little red and white Basset. And, and then our little monster tearing around with the keys, that is Asha. Asha is a miniature Schnauzer. So, you guys want to come here so we can chat about you? And then we'll talk about how to ship you to Florida. Huh? You want to go to Florida? What do you think? All right, so, hi cutie. All right, this is Asha. Asha is a miniature Schnauzer. Hi, baby girl. Toting the very typical Schnauzer cut. Okay, that's your normal Schnauzer cut. She wants to run. She does have her ears done. Of course, her tail is done as well. Some people like the ears cropped. Others don't. I'm kind of impartial myself. Hi, sweetie. I can go either way. I like them like this. With the one breeder that, he's actually a really good, really high quality Schnauzer breeder that this one comes from. But he does the ears and stuff, and of course dew claws and tails, all that stuff. Of course that's done way early, but anyway, he does that all himself, and then does the little Schnauzer clip on him, things like that. So it makes these guys really cutie patooties. But Anyway, so Asha is a black and white, all right? Schnauzers come in a multitude of colors, actually. But normally you get black and silver, okay? We've had black and silvers in here before. So this, where she has white would be silver. So Schnauzers with this black body can come black and silver, black and white, black and cream. I've actually seen cream. It's a lighter, it's cream. It's cream, kind of almost like this color. But anyway, so this is not what we consider a party Schnauzer. Okay, party is a different pattern. Party would almost be kind of like what the Basset Hound is. It's kind of a broken pattern. They do make black party, red parties. We have a blue Merle party coming in too. Party is a broken pattern where they would have white through their body. In her case, she's solid black through the body, and then her white is all on the tips, which is just, I mean, the contrast of the black and white is pretty amazing. She does have a little bit of white on her nose as well, so just cute as a button there. You checking out the white on her nose too? So anyway, so miniature Schnauzer. She's going to be about in the 14-pound range when she matures. You do not have to keep her in this cut if you don't like it. It's just how, like I said, how the breeder did it before we got here. So normally the long hair here, that would be full body on her if you wanted to keep it that way. You know, and you can. Like I said, it's just preference. She will need to be combed out. Right now, all you need to comb is just this part of it, especially down the legs where she's going to get tangled. And hard comb, again, is what you're going to use for that, just to comb through here. Right now, you don't have a whole lot to comb, so it's not going to take very long. But if you let the body grow long, let this grow out, which it will, and this hair grows back really quick. I mean, it's what she looks like at 6 weeks from now, she's not going to look like this. This will be getting longer through here, and then this down here will be getting even longer. You know, in 6 weeks, her hair is going to grow roughly a half an inch to a full inch. And every dog's a little bit different, and every growth rate is no different than our own hair. Everybody's hair grows at different intervals, and dogs do the same thing. But a half an inch to an inch is about what you would expect her to grow every 4 to 6 weeks. So look at her standing there, just so special, huh? You just know you're something special, don't you? Yeah. Anyway, so this will grow out if you don't like it. If you like it, that's fine. You can keep it like this. This is shorter. You would want to keep this clipped up about every 4 weeks then, if you like this particular cut. And then you can trim up the longer length down her body, trim that up as well, and keep her looking like this. Now your Schnauzer, lively, lovely, lots of fun. You saw her kind of running. She's got lots of energy to burn. They are not off-the-wall crackheads by any stretch, but they do have energy. They do like to run. They do like to play. Schnauzers love to be outside, too, by the way. They actually are going to really enjoy the outside. Right now, she'd probably, you know, if you're going to put her outside, right, today it's warmer here. We're in Ohio, so today it's a little bit warmer, kind of a blessing for January. Usually it's a little chilly, but that chilly's coming in next week for us. So you might want to give her just a little jacket or coat to throw on, and she'll be perfectly fine. She is going to, like I said, enjoy being outside and really enjoy it. That is kind of her thing. But with your Schnauzers, whoopsie, come here. With your Schnauzers, again, a little bit stronger willed kind of puppy. Not bad, very workable, very tolerable, but a little bit on the independent. We've got several independent guys this week to talk about, or some that we already did talk about, and then her too. She's kind of the same way, just a little bit a smart dog too. A little bit smarter than she needs to be for her own good sometimes, but delightful dogs. Schnauzers are great. They do good. They've got a nice sturdy body. These guys are going to hold up really good if you have families and children, things like that. They do really well and stuff. She, of course, is a very low shed. Schnauzers really don't drop any of this hair, which is why you have to take them to the groomer. And then, like we mentioned combing and stuff, but, you know, your groomer will clean her up and make her look however you want. Whether you wanna do a full body puppy cut, whether you wanna keep the Schnauzer cut, that would be up to you. So this little sweetheart, this is our little Basset hound, and this is Pfeiffer. You wanna show them your beautiful little face? There's her beautiful little face. Got all kinds of little polka dots here. Just a precious little thing. Bassets are really amazing dogs. Very sweet. They are sensitive too. Aren't you? You're sensitive. They have a very sensitive personality to them. So in other words, they're not gonna like being harshly spoken to, like if you're correcting them, if you're trying to train them. They're not gonna like a very firm, harsh sort of stance. They are very sensitive in nature. I do want to point that out. Some people don't understand that. These guys are, I mean, they're a Basset hound, so they're in the hound dog family. But this is not like a beagle. Beagles are a little bit different in their personality and temperament. So your Bassets, of course, Bassets, we were talking about elongated backs. We had a Dachshund in the first play area. Basset hound, again, is another breed that has an elongated back. So you want to watch this. Bassets, even though they're bred for hunting and things like that, their activity level is on the lower side. They can run, don't get me wrong, they definitely can run and play and get out. They do love being outside too. Hound dogs, even though they have a short coat, and it's just a single coat, they do have kind of an oil on their skin that kind of coats them or insulates them. And that oil, sometimes that's what gives you that hound dog smell, is that oil. But these guys do enjoy being outside. They were bred to hunt. So, you know, and the Basset, of course, they're low to the ground, so they like to get under the brush and shrubs, and are real good for, you know, like chasing out quail and birds and things like that, because they're so low to the ground. Anyway, your Bassets, they are a shedding dog, okay, so they are gonna shed. It is a single coat, so it's a tolerable shed. But working with them, they're hounds, so they're a little headstrong, but they're not too bad. They are trainable. Obviously, people that are using them for hunting do need to work with them and do need to be able to train them, and they are capable of doing that. So that does apply to household training as well. These ears, of course, that's your typical Basset ear, super duper long and whatnot. Some people, depend, you know, if you've got food bowls down or water bowl down, these do kind of tend to get in that. So you can take and kind of use a soft scrunchie and tie them up. You know, if you're doing dinner time, if you're doing scheduled dinners, like I said, we don't typically recommend that. We do free choice dinners. A Basset hound is another one of those breeds. I mentioned this with the Dachshund earlier. I will mention it with her as well. We don't want them getting too heavy, too fat. She is again running a very good body score here. This is right in the middle, right where she should be. She's got a nice little belly on her. It's there, it's full, but it's not heavy and fat. We don't want obese and stuff like that. It's very hard on their back because it does push down on their back, or pulls down actually. But anyway, so your Basset hound, we don't get a lot of Basset hounds in here very often, but I love them because I like their personalities. Not your typical, you know, little fluffy guy that we get in, but that's kind of actually a fun thing and a good thing because this is non-typical. But yeah, you look at the camera, tell them how beautiful you are. You know, don't underestimate these guys as far as family pets. They're really good. They're excellent with children. They do really well. I mean, they've got that little sad eyes. You know, it's kind of hard to even scold them because they always look at you. They have those sad hound dog eyes. You know, that's their puppy dog eyes. And they carry that all their life. They will always have those little puppy dog eyes. So they just look at you and you just kind of melt. And that is your typical Basset hound. Of course, they've got a very heavy foot, which they are supposed to have, very thick. And that's, you know, so that they can, you know, they can track with it because it's very easy for them to walk around because they kind of it's kind of like having snowshoes on. So, you know, if these guys are out in the snow or something, they kind of walk on top of the snow to some degree. And that's because that heavy foot is like a snowshoe almost to them. But it's also for digging. These guys can dig too. So you do want to watch, you know, if you have them out in a fenced-in yard, you do want to watch, make sure they don't get under the fence. So that is a little bit, oh, we were supposed to talk about delivery, and I kind of forgot about that. So let me chat about that real quick. So whoever asked, sorry for stringing you on. I didn't mean to. I just kind of forgot.
Hey, Mark, real quick, just a specific about delivery. They were talking about not wanting to put a pup through delivery process, which you know as well as I do with the process and whatnot. We don't use any airplanes because airplanes do terrify and traumatize the pups. So it's ground transport. That was the main basis of the question. And then
Just
they were...
like the safety of it?
Yeah, the safety of delivery and how our process works. So if you just want to touch on a couple of those points there.
Yeah, honestly, guys, it is very safe. We don't use airports. We're not going to cram these guys into a tote and put them in the cargo hole on the airplane. Nothing against the airplanes. They do the best they can. But the vans are very nice. We use it ourselves. That's actually how I transport. You know, I'm a 2-hour drive away from here. So I have a van situated to travel with these guys and stuff. You know, now granted, if you're down in Florida, you're more than 2 hours, but still the theory, the concept is the same. It's a van. There's dedicated cages for these guys, so the dog has enough room to get around and move and things like that. On a short drive, and a short drive would be under 24 hours, a lot of times the pups do remain in their cage. The drivers will get them out for a little bit just to let them stretch their legs. But for the most part, these guys are just being tended to in their crates. Each dog has its own separate crate, so it's very safe, and you don't have any conflict of personality. The dog has plenty of room to lay down and things like that. They do have, of course, food and water at all times. There are 2 drivers on every van, and while one is driving, the other tends to the dogs, and then like he'll lay over for a nap and stuff. You know, and they do it in intervals and things like that. But their dog's interest, the vans are all air quality controlled. So a lot of them have ERV type of units in them, allowing fresh air circulating into the vans. And these are full-size vans. So, and they're high cube vans. Just I have a high cube too. So you know, you've got lots of room in there. So they do have a lot air circulation system within the vans. Of course, the vans are heated and air conditioned like it would be for our normal cars. But in the summer and in the winter, they will actually run external or additional heat and air conditioning. You know, sometimes it's hard to get that circulation to the back of the van. So a lot of them have little Honda generators running on the backs of the vans, you know, outside of the van. And what that's doing is circulating heat and air. You know, the heat and air is inside the van. So it's circulating things around. Hi, babe. Anyway, the van is actually very safe. It's a very good way to move these guys around. It's very stable. You know, you just have the movement of the car as they're moving around. They're not taking off, you know, at supersonic speeds to get up to airspeed. And are you going to be a lap dog? You're not exactly a lap dog, but here, come on up here. Anyway, like I use vans all the time because I have dogs brought in to me, and I use vans myself to transport when we're picking up. So it's very safe, guys. I promise you. We do it every day, every week. These guys there's puppies moving around the country all the time. You know, whether they're coming from out on the coast or going to the coast or whatever. So it is very safe. If you want to know a little bit more about that, you will find a deliveries page on our website, and I do go into that a little bit more in depth. If you want to know even more than what we provide on the website, simply give me a call, and I would be happy to talk to you about it. But I do promise you, these guys arrive in very good condition, and they're very well taken care of. And you've got somebody right there, you know, so they can, you know, if you hear a puppy crying in the back, you know, you simply get up out of the passenger seat and go back and see who's doing what, you know. Whereas if they were in a cargo hole in a crate, they wouldn't necessarily have that luxury. But again, nothing against the airports. They do a good job too. But the vans, I prefer the van shipment over the air shipment. and it is a very good way to get these guys across country. And we are capable of doing that. Any day we can get this little girl, if you want her shipped out to California, we can make that happen. So that's enough about these two and the delivery. I'm gonna get this little hound dog off of my lap and get her up. There we go. And we'll get this little Schnauzer out, and we're gonna step over. We got one more play area to talk about.
All right, Walmart's making his way over here to the last play area, and we're interrupting a little chew session here. But Mark will talk about these two little cuties in just a second. If you guys want to find out more information, Mark was talking about a delivery page and whatnot, check out our website. Website's going to be yournewpuppyllc.com. If you guys go on there, we do have additional information on our other pups that we have available, and we have a deliveries page, an FAQs page, and just a lot of useful information to help you guys make an educated decision. We talked a lot about delivery there. If you guys happen to be local, we're in the Cincinnati, Ohio area. If you guys happen to be local and want to stop by the store whenever we're open, feel free to do so. You can call beforehand if you got questions, or you can just pop in and talk with us face to face. Again, if you guys want to find out a lot of useful information, check out our website, yournewpuppyllc.com. But I'll pass it over to Mark so he can talk about these two.
Yep, thank you, sir. All right, so we have a pure Shih Tzu and a pure Cavalier. So this is our pure Shih Tzu. Little adorable little thing. So that is Sophia. Spartan is our pure Cavalier, and that would be this little boy. So we're gonna get down and we're gonna talk about them here real quick. Hi, honey. How are you? You just want all the attention. You're doing all the playing. Let's get your little buddy over here. All right. So this is Spartan. Spartan is a pure Cavalier. He is black and tan, a color pattern that is available in the Cavalier breed. Not one you see like super duper common, but it is certainly there. Are you just gonna chill? Black and tan, you can look at his face, you can see we've got the tan accents, which is, this is pretty nice tan. He's got some tan under his ears as well. And what are you doing? Huh? So with your Cavalier, I mean, your Cavaliers by nature are a pretty chill, kind of couch potato sort of dog. This little one takes it to extremes, I think. When I get pups in, they all come to me first at my house, and I have a little building situated, just set up for the new guys. We do a 10-day quarantine process there, and I'm really just kind of interacting with the dogs and playing with them and getting to know them, but also watching them and making sure we don't have any sort of issues, anything infectious or contagious, you know, different things that we do, just to make sure that these guys are happy and healthy when they get here. But during that process, I do get to spend a lot of time with these guys. Now he is, and he's even shaking a little bit. He's a little scared right now. He's very, very low key, very, very low key. He's one of the quieter Cavaliers I've seen. And Cavaliers are not overly energetic in the first place, but he's definitely one of the quieter ones. He is not going to do well if you have younger children, because it's just going to be too overwhelming for him. He is definitely going to be an empty nester kind of dog. He is definitely going to be a couch potato, kind of lay around. He does move and play. It is very minimal. I don't think I've ever heard him bark yet. He could get in your home and make me a liar about that, but I really haven't heard him say too much. Just a nice little boy, a quiet little boy, and like I said, very pretty to look at. Typical patterns, typical color pattern for your Cavaliers, just not commonly seen. Although there, like I said, there's a number of colors. You've got your ruby red, you've got your blenheim, which is your red and white. Of course, you have your tri-black, and then this is your black and tan. Those are standard colors of Cavaliers. They do have some offshoot colors. I've seen some blue merles and some other color patterns. Those are recessive genes, but I have seen those as well. But anyway, he would be a normal or traditional for a color pattern for the Cavaliers. Now, like I said, very low key with him. As far as energy, he's not overly anything. He's about as chill as you're gonna possibly get out of a Cavalier. So, you know, the Cavalier, King Charles Cavalier Spaniels, is what these guys are. Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, I guess actually correctly, but either way. Spaniel, they do shed. These guys will drop some hairs. It is a longer coat. Cavaliers get a beautiful feather. It's already starting, but it's pretty minimal. He's young. He's only 9 weeks old. So we do have feathers that will come down the back of their legs. Both the front legs and the back legs will do this as well. Their tail, once his tail grows, he will get feathers all down through here, which get very lengthy and very pretty. The ears also grow very lengthy. You do want to watch. They have this typical spaniel ear, and the spaniels are a very heavy ear, which weighs down, and what that actually does is kind of cuts off the air circulation to their ear canal. So it's very important to keep their ears clean, and you can do that very easy at home. You know, it's not real hard to you can get any kind of cleaner. You can get ear cleaner everywhere. You know, for a dog, it does have to be ear cleaner for a dog, but you can get ear cleaner everywhere. And some of it's lightly medicated, which is really good if you have yeast kind of infections or moisture kind of infections, which would create a yeast infection. But we use Q-tips here. You do have to be careful when you're using Q-tips. You want to know how to do that properly. But a cotton ball will work real good. If you have a smaller finger, and mine unfortunately is not, I have a fat finger, so I can't get down in the ear canal very good, like with a cotton ball to clean it. But like I said, we do use Q-tips here. If you're going to use that, please check into how to use that properly. We don't want to injure the dog's ear. Now, I will tell you too, when you're cleaning your dog's ears at home, a dog's ears, the ear canal of both ears, so this is left and right, so it goes down, okay, but then it angles in, so it makes an L, okay? So you can get the down part, that's what you're cleaning. It's this part here that you can't really clean very well, and even you kind of have to work it in. So if you put ear cleaner down in there, you kind of take and massage it in when they shake their head. That will actually loosen up some of the debris and wax that is down in that L portion. Of course, this is an exaggeration, but you know, even if you pull their ear straight up, that still only makes the L kind of like this. So it kind of goes this way and then in. So either way, their eardrum is way back here. Okay, so you can't get their eardrum, like you can feel our eardrum if you push a Q-tip too far. You can't do that, but what you will hit is the bottom of that L. And you will actually cause them to bleed or can hurt them if you go down too hard. So that's what I'm saying. Be careful when you do that. If you're using a Q-tip, be careful when you do that and do it correctly. You know, your groomer can show you. If you're here, your vet can show you. If you're here and you want to know how to clean a spaniel's ears or any ear, have us. We'll be happy to show you. But do be careful with that. Like I said, the important thing would be get the ear cleaner down in there, you know, kind of hold their head up and work that in, massage that in to their ear, and that works it down into the portion where you cannot reach. And then put a lot in, put enough in there to kind of wets it. And so when you're doing this, that's moving that around, that's going to break up that debris. So then, you know, you can always take a paper towel and wipe off the excess here, because once they shake their head and go to shake that moisture, because obviously they don't like that feeling, they're going to shake that head, it's going to splash that cleaning solution out. So a lot of times I'll take just a paper towel and get the excess off here so that the splashing is minimal. But anyway, so that's kind of how you clean their ears a little bit. And with your spaniel, it's pretty important that you do clean their ears. Now, working with a spaniel, training with a spaniel, very easy. They're very sensitive dogs. They don't like harsh anything, harsh words, harsh treatment, harsh anything. Very, very gentle nature dogs, very sensitive kind of dogs. So it's very easy to work with these guys. It doesn't take much to correct them or discipline. Some dogs you have to be a little stronger with. Just a simple no with these guys is enough to get their attention and you know, to work with them. So if you're interested in this sweet, sweet little boy, who's, gonna be a couch potato, he is available. And you'll find him on our website tomorrow. You'll find pictures of him tomorrow. And we talked about delivery, and he's a candidate for that. They actually all are. So if you want to have him delivered to you, we can actually make that happen. Call us here at the store, and we'll give you some information. The delivery fee too, by the way, is very economical. It's very hard, to go to Florida. It's $4.99 to drive from Ohio to Florida. And you can't hardly make the trip yourself that way. Of course, the vans that are taking them, there's multiple dogs on the van in their own private little kennel, but so there's multiple dogs going different directions, and that's why the trip can be is a bit more affordable. Now,
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
A couple things real quick. If you want to hand the Cavalier off since he's tired, they're waiting to scoop him to put him to bed for the night. And then we did have, before you start talking about the Shih Tzu here, we did have somebody while I'm just talking here that asked any important information about Morkies. Just to let you guys know, we do have a Morkie available. If you check out the website, it's a male. We do have some pictures of him. If you guys go to our website, which is yournewpuppyllc.com, you guys can find some additional information about him. Mark, then if you want to go ahead and talk about the Shih Tzu, because she's just been raring and ready to go the whole time. The Cav was just sleeping. Somebody in the comments said they're like night and day, and boy, that's the truth.
Yeah, it is. Well, and I even prefaced it with him. I mean, he literally is probably the most chill Cavalier I've ever met. I've seen a lot of Cavaliers. He's really, really quiet. There's nothing wrong with him, or it's just his personality. He's just very low key. Now she is typical little Shih Tzu, wants to play, wants to run. She's actually marked as a black and white, and that's what she was when she was a puppy. And I mean, if you look at her ears, her ears definitely have black on them, but you can also see this brown coming in, kind of a very pretty chestnut brown coming in. I don't know whether, I'm thinking she's going to go to more of a chestnut brown, because the undercoat of the brown underneath here is kind of coming through. I don't think she's gonna stay black. She's black now. She has black there, and it's very dark, and that's what she was. Her eyebrows right now are very, her face is very dark. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't know if she's gonna stay this way or not. My gut guess here is she's not. But anyway, either way, stinking cute little Shih Tzu. Your Shih Tzus, of course, have a very short nose. Boom, boom. That is breed standard for your Shih Tzus, as well as the Lhasa Apsos and the Pekingese. These are all breeds from China, and they were all bred this way to have that kind of short, smooshy look. Of course, the Pug, which is also Chinese, they have a short nozzle as well. But the correct term for that is brachiocephatic, which just means they have a short nose. So short nose is definitely easier to remember. Some conditions with a short nose breed. Right now it doesn't apply as much because it's winter, but in the summer it is a little more difficult for these guys to breathe. She has already, your short nose guys are, and it's going to be really hard to see. Stenotic nares is a pinching of the nostrils. Okay, so this nostril here is pinched in a little bit. Okay, so that's what they call stenotic nares, which impedes airflow, and that actually, in her, it's actually already been fixed. We did stenotic surgery on her to relieve that, but if your guy hasn't been fixed, you can do that, and it's actually a very easy procedure. Very easy and instant relief for the dogs. So if you're in the middle of summer and it's hot, it's humid, it's very hard for them to breathe with this nose. Just get that procedure done. It's not even that expensive. Just get that procedure done. They open up the airways, the nozzle entrance is what they open up, and it allows for more airflow to come through. So, like I said, she's already been done, so it's okay. Now with her, this is a pure Shih Tzu, and this is Sophia. And she is just as cute as can be, and she's got a very typical Shih Tzu, playful, kind of goofy personality. As you can see, because she was running around everywhere. She is going to need to be groomed and combed. The Cavalier that we had earlier, that we put up for an app because he was just being pretty chill. Cavaliers you don't typically groom. You can comb them out just to keep them tangle free, but with her, this is a hair. This is a very low shed, so we really don't drop a lot of this. It's a single coat because she's a Shih Tzu breed. But hard comb to get through them is what you want to do. Do this a couple of times, 2-3 times a week. You'll keep them tangle free. She is going to need to go to the groomers. Shih Tzus look stinking cute in puppy cuts, so that is a shorter body, typically around 3/8 to 1/2 inch. Longer ears, you can actually box it a little bit. Kind of depends on what you want to do. Box off the ears, kind of make them kind of a square. And they just look really cute. Their tail, we always tend to leave their tail longer because we've got these pretty feathers. But that was your kind of your typical puppy cut. And you know, these guys look real good in that. Now, working with your Shih Tzus, they're actually a lot of fun to work with. They're not too bad to train. Can be a little obstinate, but it's workable. It's not that bad. If you have dog-specific allergies, Shih Tzus are okay. They do pretty good for dog-specific. They're not considered hypoallergenic, but they're good. And like I said, the hair, this is hair, so you are going to get, you know, you're not going to have to vacuum that up every day if you do as some of the other shedding breeds. But working with her, like I said, just a delightful little personality, nice addition, you know, just a sweet little thing. And she likes to chew on fingers, which we don't actually want to do that. So if they're doing that, always, you know, take your finger away and replace it with something that she can chew on instead of your finger. That's a better way to approach that. That's a behavior we don't want to encourage. But I'm going to pick her up. We're going to stand up. And we're going to head out. We'll tell you, wrap this up and talk about some of the guys for next week.
All right, and while Mark's coming up here to go ahead and talk about next week and wrap us up here, a little bit more about us. If you guys check out our website, you can find a lot of useful information. We do mention that a lot during the live, but there is a lot of useful information there. Website again is going to be yournewpuppyllc.com. If you guys go on there, we do have pictures and information on all the other guys that we didn't showcase during the live, if you guys are curious. Plus, we have a future litters page that talks about what we got coming in the next couple weeks, which Mark gives a little bit of a teaser for next week, but we do have the week after that on there also, if you guys are kind of looking. And then, again, we always do appreciate, before Mark wraps up here, we do appreciate the likes, comments, follows, and subscribes, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for it, but I'll pass it back over to Mark.
Yeah, definitely. If you're liking, following our pages, subscribing to our channels, that's kind of a big thing in social media. So we do really, really appreciate that, and we do appreciate you following and just keep an eye on us, and that's okay. So a little teaser for next week, what we'll be talking about. We have some Cavapoos, actually 2 of them, Cavalier Poodles coming in. We have a Labradoodle, excuse me, it's a mini Labradoodle, and he's really kind of cute. He's kind of a roly-poly little Labradoodle. He definitely hasn't missed too many meals, but he's going to be on the mini size, but he's a cutie. Schnauzer, we have another Schnauzer. It's a mini Schnauzer, and she's tiny, like teeny, tiny. She's only going to mature about 8 to 10 pounds. Woodles, for all you Wheaton fans out there and Woodle fans out there, I know we do these all the time. One of my favorites. So we've got a Woodle, is a Wheaton Terrier Poodle. We have a male and a brother and sister coming in on that one. Yorkie, Shih Tzu Yorkie, that's a mix. We've got her coming in. Havanese, we just sold the last chocolate Havanese that we had here a week ago, and somebody said, dang, I just missed her. Well, I've got another chocolate and white Havanese coming in for you. Pretty little thing, so she will be here as well, pure Havanese. And then a Corgi. Corgi's a little bit different and unique because she's a blue merle. So we got definitely a different color pattern to the Corgi. And then a standard poodle. We don't get a lot of standard poodles and big dog stuff. I happened to find one. So we definitely snatched her up. I love the poodle breed. The standards are amazing. so we've got her to talk about as well. Michael had mentioned going to the future litters page. We do list basically 1 or 2 weeks only of very specific, and then we have a section called breeds of interest, and that's going to be something that's a little bit different, a little unique, maybe smaller in size than normal, different color than normal. Something about them is of interest, thus breeds of interest. So you can check that out. That is not an all-inclusive list. There will be other guys that get added to that as well if you're looking for something. I know there's somebody that watches our lives all the time said, hey, you've got some beautiful Yorkies, they're chocolate and tan, they're really pretty. I really want just a traditional black and tan. Get a hold of me. Yorkies, we can get you definitely a Yorkie. I do have some already scheduled. They're just not on that list at the moment, but I have an advanced list that I maintain at home. It goes all the way back out to about 6, 7, 8, almost 8 weeks out when these guys are just newborns. So just get a hold of me. I can tell you if we've got some coming in and let you know about that. So she is tired, we are tired, and you are time for bed. So I am Mark, and on behalf of all of us here at Your New Puppy, we want to wish you a fantastic week.